Hello, we are live. Let me make sure that we are live. Hello, everyone that's going to join us. Let me make sure we turn this down. Okay, let me see. Edit privacy, make it public, change it. Um, so it looks as if we are live. Let's see. So you guys come on in the room. Come on. Oh, I didn't mean to say that. Um, let's send a private message. So let me do this. Um, Okay, everyone, I'm giving everybody a few minutes. I have to send out the reminders. So just give me a second. Miss Alice is on. How you doing today, Alice? Thank you so much for what you did today with outreach, you and the team. Were you able to share it, Pastor Brandon?
I am. I'm doing it as we speak.
Miss Wanda just came in. How you doing, Miss Wanda? So I need you all to send shout outs. I need you to um, make sure you get in, make comments, share, like, because we want to make sure that this is going to be rotated the right way in the algorithm of Facebook. So Miss Wanda said, hello, lovely man and woman of God. Mr. Anthony is on. He says, blessings, honor, and glory to everyone. How are you doing today, Mr. Anthony? I spoke to Miss Alice. Hey, Mr. Willie, how are you doing today? Miss Sandra just jumped on with us. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. And so if you're in the room, go ahead and make sure you share, text someone that you know maybe may have some questions or may just have friends that are single, that are Christian, that need to know about the church and singleness. And we have Reverend Marie or Minister Marie on the line that just signed in. So they're coming in the room, Pastor Brandon.
Come on in the room. No pressure.
Come on in the room. So while we're waiting for everyone to get in, I'm going to go ahead and open the floor to Pastor Brandon so he can say a little bit about himself, because we got some new people on today, Pastor Brandon. So you're going to have to, really tell about yourself, don't, do the spiel.
All right. Praise the Lord, everyone. This is Pastor Brandon Day of God's Temple Holiness Church in the big city of Yanceyville, North Carolina.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
So I want to give a shout out to all my church family, all my biological family, all my friends. Y'all know me and my enemies. I appreciate all of you all, because if it wasn't for you all, I wouldn't be me. And all of my lovely authenticity. I truly appreciate it. So as I normally say, let's go ahead, let's do this. And I now introduce to everyone the one, the only Reverend Counselor, Preacher, Prophetess, our host, LaToya Palati.
Okay, he had to act up, you guys. Thank you all so much. I saw that Miss Clara. Hey, Miss Clara, I haven't seen you in a while. How are you doing? And so, everyone, today we're going to talk about church and singleness. And this has been a topic that has gone in so deep with so much because when we talk about church and singleness, it still spills over into being married and being saved and sanctified and filled with the Holy Ghost. But what the realization of it is what do I do? What do I do in the meantime? What do I do in the place where I am loving God, but I want to have a man or a woman? I trust God, but I want to have someone in my life that I can hold, that I can talk to. So, Pastor Brandon, what do we do in the meantime?
Enjoy yourself.
Come on.
Enjoy being by yourself. I know that sounds such a contradiction, but you have to learn to enjoy being alone. You have to learn to enjoy loving you.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times we can get in a relationship, start dating someone, and then you will find out things about yourself that you didn't know were there
Mm-hmm.
because you haven't taken that time to really love and secure yourself. Um, and that is very vital because if you're always expecting someone to have that fairy tale moment to where, oh, they're gonna take me to the movies, go out to eat. Listen, love yourself that you take your own self on a date.
Come on.
Take your own self to the movies. Take your own self shopping. Take your own self out to eat. If you're the only one in the restaurant where everybody else coupled up and you sitting there at the table, enjoy that moment because
Mm-hmm.
that way you cannot be easily manipulated
Come on.
by those things.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you already know how to treat yourself to a standard, you don't have to worry about somebody coming in. Well, I can take you to this. Okay, I can do that myself. You
Right.
know, you want someone to show you something different. You want someone to show you something to point to where that they don't try to use the things that you already know you can do and try to say, well, if you allow me to do this for you, then I can be the one for you. No, you're not doing nothing I can't do for myself. So in the meantime, learn
Mm-hmm.
to enjoy your me time. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Come on, come on. That's good. That was good, Pastor Brandon. That was good. So
Good.
when we and especially when we are trying to figure out ourselves.
Mhm.
I've known people who go from relationship to relationship to relationship because they don't know anything about themselves and they can't stand to be alone. So
Mhm.
they find themselves with woman after woman, man after man, marriage after marriage, and then they are in that stuck place where because they don't know anything about themselves and they don't want to learn because they sometimes people feel like if I learn about me, if I take time about me, some stuff may come that I don't want to deal with. Because many of us are running from our past. Many
Yes.
of us is trying to outrun the thoughts, outrun the pain, outrun the emotions because we know how it feels to be in that place. And
Mhm.
so, Pastor Brandon, why do we have to and then you probably just explained that, but let's go a little bit deeper about the process of the placement.
Hmm. The process, first of all, you have to admit that you are flawed.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I've learned to ask in past relationships when I was talking to someone, everyone want to ask the question, "What are your strengths?" No, I want to know what are your flaws,
Mm-hmm.
what are your weaknesses, and it's not because I want to see how I can use them, but to see how honest you're going to be about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're not honest about yourself, you're not going to be honest with me. And so through that process, you need to be able to learn to appreciate, first of all, your flaws, your mistakes, admit that you are not where you need to be,
Mm-hmm.
put things out on the table. Hey, this is what I'm dealing with. This is where I am right now in life. This is where I want to be in my life. Are you able to help me to get there, or are you able to be able to deal with me getting there? But even with that, I was thinking about something earlier this week. You have to be willing to embrace even your past.
Mm-hmm.
Understand that if you're not able to get over your past,
Right.
don't get upset if you get linked with the same spirit with people who want to hold your past against you.
Mhm. Come on.
So you have to be willing to let go of your past. Okay, yeah, I had a past, I did this, so forth, so on. So you also have to be willing to be able to accept someone else's past.
Mm-hmm.
because so often we want people to be this ideal or they already be together, but a lot of times it's not always the case. The areas that you are not together, they may be.
Mm-hmm.
The areas that they're not together, you may be. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to be willing to have that process of understanding, okay, a past is a past. Open communication. That's what it
Right.
comes down to. You got to have open communication, not only with the person you're trying to talk to, with yourself, and also, most importantly, with God.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's no need of you trying to hide stuff from God, then you expect man to be able to understand. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to be intentional communicating with God so you can be attentional with people that you're trying to be with. And there
Mm-hmm.
we have the cross. So we have to be willing to understand that communication is very vital, understanding awareness of who you are, understanding that your past is not who you are, but it shows and brings you to where you can be. So
Mm-hmm.
those are things that are very vital that we must understand.
But you know, it is. I love. There was something that you said about the familiar spirit.
Mhm.
And I do believe, even though we're talking about singleness, we're also talking about the church in singleness.
Mhm.
And so, one of the things that I have realized is that many people who have a hard time with someone who comes into the church because they see that familiar spirit that they have not allowed themselves to embrace. And so, if I used to be an alcoholic, and I've been moved from that, and I'm no longer an alcoholic. Now I'm a deacon of the church. Now I'm a minister of the church. Now I'm just a person that's in the church. But
Mhm.
yet I see someone that's coming in that deals with that spirit of being an alcoholic. Then it's gonna be something about them. I don't want to deal with that person. I don't want to have anything to do with that person. You know, I'm not being judgmental, but it's just something about that person that I can't click. But what it really is you haven't embraced your brokenness. You haven't embraced the thing that kept you so tied up, so bound up, that when you see it in someone else, it causes you to repel. It causes you to not want to embrace them. It causes you not to want to be a part of them. And so many of the times when you really have an issue with someone in the church, the question is, what is it in me that's causing me to
Mhm.
look at that person that way? What is it in me that's causing me? Because if we as a church do a self-evaluation of ourselves, if we go into inner healing and go and get deliverance and find out, you know, that we can communicate with ourselves, say, girl, you know, you can't be in a room with a whole bunch of people because you're liable to pop off at any moment. So, you know, limit your time, but you are real with yourself. You
Mhm.
know, I'm dealing with this. I have this going on, that we can take it before the Lord. But many of us as Christians, we bring forth what we think people are going to accept.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, you're going to accept this part of my brokenness, but you're
Mhm.
not going to accept this part.
Mhm.
So I'm not going to bring this part to the church. I'm just going to bring this part because
Yeah.
I still want to be you know, I want to let people know that I'm being authentic, but
Right.
but I'm going to hide this part of me. But when
Mhm.
you are doing that, you will find yourself um sensing that familiar spirit floating around the church. And then you have the animosities, and
Yeah.
then you have the jealousies, and then you have the bitterness, and then you have the backbiting. Then you have all the things within the church because you have failed to take that time to say, you know, what is it in me that I need to fix? What is it that's broken in me? What is something that I have to maybe sit down with myself and say, listen, self, I need you to do better. Listen, self, you can't blame sister so and so and brother so and so for what they're doing because guess what?
Yeah.
I used to do the same thing. You know, it's funny, Pastor Brandon, how when we get saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Ghost, we kind of forget all the
Yeah.
stuff that we done went through, all the doors we done ducked in, all the hiding, the dipping, and listen. Let's just be real because this is real talk. You know,
Yeah.
we forget about the things that
Yeah.
we do, and
Yeah.
so now that I'm in a place where now I have to be all put together. I have to be okay because I'm saved and I'm
Mhm.
sanctified and I'm filled with the Holy Ghost, but yet I'm yearning to be with a man or a woman. I'm yearning for somebody to hold me at night, but yet I have to act like everything is okay. I have to move like everything is okay because, you know, God forbid if they really know that I was looking at brother so and so as he walked down the aisle because he had the right clothes on and the cologne was looking good and smelling good, but yet I'm fighting an internal battle with myself
Yeah.
and I'm trying to do it and be saved. and look the part, and then it becomes too heavy, and it becomes to a place where I just want to give up.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go out there and slip up for a little bit. Lord, I know you're gonna forgive me because I'm tired of putting on the facade. So, Pastor Brandon, how do we maneuver through all of that? I know I said a lot, so you're gonna have to decipher all that I said and bring it back together.
I can do that. And the way I'm gonna put it, stop playing Halloween every day.
I'm gonna put you in timeout.
I mean, it's the truth. When we stop trying to put on these costumes
Mm-hmm.
and try to act like we're something that we're not,
Jesus.
our life will be a lot more peaceful. And when we start accepting that people that come to church are not perfect,
Right.
when we hear the details of the imperfection, we won't be so quick to push them off, judge them, and try to act like, oh my God, I didn't know. But you know, everybody that comes to church is not perfect.
Come
Why
on.
to you? I'm sorry,
Hmm.
that's been on me for a while. But I'm at a place now, being single,
Mm-hmm.
that I'm not trying to find people that are so perfect in front of people and don't realize, even though you may be dirty, but you still got dust. And if you don't acknowledge that you got dust,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I don't want to fool with you.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I acknowledge I got dust, then I can get dusted off.
Come on.
And I can do what I need to do. But I'm trying to get the mentality of the people of God at this point, because we have gotten to a place that we're so far away from the teachings and the example of Jesus Christ.
Come
He
on.
knew everybody's dirt.
But he still embraced them.
Thank you. But what we do is, we know that we're imperfect. We know we're in a church full of imperfect people, but because we walk around on costumes and we
Mm.
feel everybody should look and act a certain way, that even though we know in the back of our mind that we are all not perfect, when we find out the details about people, then we try to, oh, we shouldn't do it. No, they decide to take off the costume and say,
Mm-hmm.
look, this is who I am. I need help.
I
But
mean,
while you walking around trying to act like, oh, I'm just, oh God, I thank you. This, that, and the third, and God is so awesome. Knowing good and well that before you came, you was upset with God because He said no instead of yes.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, my voice is raising. So
Mm-hmm.
we have to make sure we have to get to a place that we understand that it's time. Halloween happens one time out the year. Why are
Mm-hmm.
you trying to make this happen every day? Learn to accept who you are and your flaws. When you learn to love all of you, then God can show you how His love covers all of you.
Hmm.
But we have to learn to get to that place and stop trying to fake the funk. It doesn't work.
And you know, Pastor Brandon, as you was talking, all I could think about is we want God to shower us with his love,
Mhm.
but yet we put up the umbrella.
Yes.
Because I don't want you to really see
Yeah.
my brokenness. I don't want you to really see my pain. So if I put a little shield between you and me, you know, I can still stick my hand from under the umbrella and get a little bit of your love, get a little bit of your anointing, get a little bit of what you're calling me to do. But I don't want the full force of it, because if I allow the full force, then there's some things in me I have to change. There's some
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
in me going to be recognized, you know, like the priests, before, after they did the sacrifice, they had to wash off in the brazen laver, but it was made out of the mirrors from the women. So when the priest looked in to wash the mess off of him, he was able to see himself in the bottom. He was able to see himself in the reflection. But
Yes.
many of us close our eyes when we get before the mirror. Many of us shut our eyes because we don't want to see the reflection. We don't want to see the brokenness. But we're talking about singleness, and how do I get married? How do I find that spouse? How does that spouse find me? But if you are still covered and you're walking around with the facade, then will they really see you? Will they really be able to pick you out in the crowd? Will they really be able to say that's my husband, or that's my spouse, or that's my wife, when you are so covered? And all they see is what you're portraying, what
Yes.
what you want them to see,
Yes.
but you're not the true authentic form of yourself, saying, here I am, I'm ready to lay at your feet, I'm ready to for you to pick me, because now I'm doing what I need to do to get to what I need. But so many of us, and not just, and I'm not going to talk about just women, because men go through it too. I was talking to someone, and I was talking to them about the prices, of coaching, and what I expected. But people will spend $500 to make sure the mask is good. They make sure the mask got the perfect hairdo and the perfect eyeshadows and the perfect. I know y'all looking at me. Listen, come on now, perfect this, the perfect that. But at the end of the day, they're so broken, and so
Mm-hmm.
they spend all the money to get the mask tight, but they will not spend what they need, or they will not pay the price for what they need to pay the price for to now get healed. And so they are just a beautiful mess that's walking around. And I'm not just talking when I say it's I know men that's walking around, I'm hard, I'm this, I got it together, I need a wife that's gonna do this and this, but you don't even know how to go to the bank and take money out the bank. You don't even know how to you don't even have a checking and savings account, but you want this woman to be, a 10, and here you are a 3.5. It's time for us to start being honest about, where I am. This is where I am.
Yeah.
Listen, I may be able to lose a little bit of weight, but what if I gain it back? Are you still going to love me for who I am? Are you still going to be there? What if something happens and they have to amputate an arm or a leg?
Mm-hmm.
Are you still going to love me for me, or is it the facade? Are we we're trying to be that social media couple where everyone's like, oh, they're so beautiful, I want to be like them, but where's the love?
Yeah.
But if I don't love me, how can I love you?
Yeah. 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 And that's what we as a people have to learn across the board. Whether you're single, married, divorced, whatever the case may be, we have to learn to have that true, unconditional, godly love, and the love that He put between someone and their spouse. Because, as you stated, things are going to happen in life. I literally was just talking to someone about this the other day. Things are going to happen in life. And if you don't know how to love that person through life, you're going to lose them in life. And it's not always through death. Because when life comes, it don't care how you look, how old you are, how cute you think you are, how it doesn't life will knock the life out of you. And during that time, you have to be able to have a solidified, concrete standard and grounding that no matter what happens, I love you for you. Not for just how you look, not for just how you treat me, but because I know you. And the only way someone can know you, you have to be open enough to show them all of you.
Come on.
And if once they see all of you and they still want to stick there and love you, you need to hold on to that person.
Right.
And understand that that type of love is rare. That no matter what happens, no matter who goes, what that is rare to find. And when you find it, go with it. But the problem I'm finding with a lot of people is that we have a tendency of not understanding what true authentic love is. It's not about how I look. It's not about what I can give. It's not about how well I preach. It's not about how well I dress. But when I'm trying to be vulnerable and explain to you this is what it is, and you can't fully grasp that, that's already a flag. That's a flag on play. That's a flag on play. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work.
Blow the whistle. Come on.
Yeah. So we have to be mindful of when we are starting to be involved with someone. It's not only a natural thing, it's an emotional and spiritual thing.
Right.
And so we have to realize it's not just something we can take lightly. This is a tie, a tether between you and another person. And that tether can either give you life or it can breed death.
Come
So you
on.
have to be mindful of what you're connecting yourself with.
Right. And you know, when you talked about the flag, it's so funny because many of us will knock the flag out of the air.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, there's no way you're gonna throw that flag because you know, yeah, he might be abusive, but he looked good. He's walking with me, so we have to make sure that when the flags are there, you know, the Lord would allow you to see. Because he's not going to set you up. He's going to allow you to see when you start dating the person. And I think that's the problem with many Christians is because they don't know how to date. They don't know how to go out and have a relationship and have a good time, and you know, not bring the little church bag with the Bible in it and the pen and the paper so they can, you know, take notes. They don't know because they're so afraid that if someone in the church sees them, then they're going to talk about me, or if somebody see me. But if you don't have that time to really learn how to date as a Christian man or woman, you will find yourself rushing into a relationship that is going to cause you to be so messed up, that's going to cause you to have so much going on. So you know, we have to take, we I have to be careful because my husband's going to watch. Not we, y'all singles are going to have to make sure that you're taking the time to understand how to go through the process,
Mm-hmm.
how to do it. You know, and we talked about this, I think it was the first night. You know, we have the singles night, but it's a whole bunch of women. One or two men may show up, but normally when you have a singles night, it's full of a bunch of women
Mm-hmm.
playing board games, doing things. But what happened to said, you know, teaching the singles how to date?
Yes. 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 And I think that's vital in the church. And I think it's vital that we not only teach women, but teach the men
Mm-hmm.
how to really learn to stop trying to be macho man
Mm.
and be who you are. You know, I think society has made it so for a lot of us that are a lot of men that we have to act a certain way. We have to carry ourselves a certain. We got to act big and bold. You know, got to be a thug. You got to be, you know, you got to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then it has gotten to the point that men don't can't even really just be vulnerable or just be themselves. Because anyone that really knows me, yeah, we joke a lot on here, but to really know me, I'm a character. I'm a character. But to some women, they don't like that because they always want someone to be serious. Listen, I ain't got time to be serious all the time. Life's too short. Heart attacks are real. Stress is real. There's enough seriousness going on around me that I need some time. If a man should be so comfortable around the person that he's with that
Mm-hmm.
even if he just wanted to sit there and just be a little boy,
Mm-hmm.
they understand it.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to teach people how to make sure that when you are dating, present how you want to be treated.
Come on. Come on, that's it.
So if you don't want to be treated like a video chick, don't dress like a video chick. If you don't want to be treated as if you're nothing but a model because you're a man, you got chest and all this, and you want her to see you, don't wear things that's going to appeal to that. In
Mm-hmm.
other words, don't be the temptation
Mm-hmm.
because only thing that they're going to like is the temptation. You
Mm-hmm.
want somebody to treat you for who you are, and I say that in all respect because I'm at this place where I'm seeing females, and y'all please don't throw stones at me for this. I'm tired of seeing females come to church and you saying you want a man, and when you get up to praise God, your skirt is so tight. They're not paying attention to what you're praising. They're paying attention to everything that's moving. But then you say you want a man of God. No, that's not what you're attracting.
Mm-hmm.
You're
Mm-hmm.
attracting the hormone side of a man. I'm
Mm-hmm.
I gotta be real about this.
But it's the same way. Pastor Brandon, when we talk about, because I don't want the women to think that, oh, well, I can't wear this dress, because the truth of the matter is, whether I had on a burqa and all you can see is my eyes, and I'm up there shouting. If he's dealing with if he is dealing with the spirit of lust, it does not matter what I have on. It does not matter what I'm what's going on. So we have to be very careful, because we may not be attracting that type of man, but if that man is dealing with a situation, if they're dealing with something, it doesn't matter what I'm shouting in. I can have on a whole burqa, like I said, and all you see is my eyes. Guess what? Your mind is going to go there, because that's what you are used to. That's what you want. And so we have to be mindful that this is why it's important for us to be able to be free. Okay, my dress might be, listen, unless I put on one of those, what's them things for the African, where it has no shape at all. I forgot the name of it. And you put that on. Guess what? Some women are so proportioned that it doesn't matter what they put on, that shape is still going to show. So, we have to, because I don't want anybody to feel condemned. I don't want anybody to feel like, oh God, I can't wear this dress, or I can't wear this. And I understand what you're saying, but we have to get to a place where we are stopped so much looking at the outward. And I think that's what it is. Because I'm dealing with lust, then I'm going to tell you, Dashiki, thank you. I'm going to take off my, because your dress is tight, and it's your fault. It's your fault that I'm lusting after you. It's your fault that I'm looking at you some kind of way. It's your fault. Because honestly, I've seen it where it could be the ugliest person in the church. God forgive me. It could be the ugliest person. But if he's preaching in that anointing, when that anointing falls, you be like, wait, is that the same person that just I passed out there? Because that anointing is making them look good.
Yeah, and let me clarify that. So what I'm saying is, let me talk from my experience.
Okay, come on.
Nobody get offended. We as people that are in church and have a relationship with God, we can discern when you try to just get attention and act like you praising God.
Come on, now that's it. Let's talk about that.
And we can discern when you're literally, that may be all you have to wear. I don't care what nobody tell me. I know back in the day when I wanted to get attention, I knew what outfit to put on. I knew what was going to cause people. When you used to go to the club, you didn't wear clothes just because of clothes. You wore certain clothes to get their attention. And what has happened, the same thing has crossed over in the mindset of a lot of church people. A lot of people that go to church. So I'm not speaking for the ones that are, you're proportionate. Same thing with me. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about the ones that in your mind, that it's a youth explosion, or it's a something. You just like, look, I know it's gonna be some single people there. Let me put
Come
this,
on.
let me put this on. And then all of a sudden you strutting to the front and you gotta run to the front to dance in front of people. No, I know that spirit. That's a Jezebel spirit.
Right.
You
entice. It goes back, and I love how you said that, because that Jezebel spirit is also on men. So now they know they've been working out and they got a little six pack and they got a little muscles, and they're gonna go put on that little thin shirt and come walk up to the front and say, "Sister, I just want to give you a hug." No, I need you to back up. You're just trying to show off. And so that's why we have to understand the mindset. If you are walking around and that's all you thinking about is, listen, I got to do what I got to do. I got to get this man. I don't want to be by myself. I got to do what I got to do. I got to get this woman because I'm tired of laying at home by myself. Then there's going to be a different mindset. There's going to be a different spirit that you're going to bring to the church. And so, when we're talking about that, we don't want anyone, like I said, I don't want you to feel condemned. But I do want you to be in a place that you're mindful, that you have discernment, saying, wait a minute, listen, I remember when brother so-and-so was a little, little heavyweight, he had a little weight on him. He never said anything. He shouted in the back of the church. But now that he done lost some weight, he got a six pack, he got muscles, he coming up to the front. Why? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to prove? But
Right.
we really have to get into a place where we understand discernment,
Yes.
because I can paint it up. Oh,
Yes.
trust me, I had the hair laid, I had the makeup on when I was suicidal.
There you
I
go.
knew how to say amen and hallelujah when I was suicidal.
Mm-hmm.
I knew how, and even let me back up, when I was saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Ghost, I still knew,
Mm-hmm.
because of the discernment, not knowing that I was walking as a prophetess, not knowing that what I was able to pick up, but I was able to pick up. Okay, listen, this one right here just needs somebody to talk to. This
Mm-hmm.
one right here just needs somebody to hold our hand. This one right here just want to be felt like they're important. And so when they would get on my nerves, I would do the opposite of what they wanted, because I could pick up on them. So that's what I want you to understand, because there are so many people walking around that can pick up on what you are yearning for, that can pick up on what you are, as the young ones say, that you're now thirsty. I don't know if they still use that, but you're I just want somebody. I just want to be with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have those out there that has a strong sense of discernment, that may not even know that they're walking as a prophet, as a prophetess, but they're able to discern, this person, if I just hold her hand, she'll give me anything that I want.
Mm-hmm.
If I just spend a little time with her, she'll give me anything that I want, because that's how that deception is.
Yeah.
That's how it is, because it's so easy.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back at myself now, I'm like, oh my God. I didn't even realize that I was using my anointing to
Yeah.
trap the people, because I knew what they was going through and what they was feeling. But of course, I didn't know anything about the anointing. I didn't know anything about prophecy and being a prophet, or because I didn't grow up in church.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so many people that's walking around that same way now.
Yeah.
That they'll go to church scoping out who they need to. Now I'm gonna go after this person. Oh, brother so and so, I know his heart has been broken. So let me go ahead and bake him some pies and bake him some cakes, because I know he just wants somebody who just going to pay him some attention, because he was ignored his marriage, or he was ignored his whole life. And so we really have to be mindful that we know who we are.
Yeah. And we have to, and that's something that if you're single, you need to ask God to heighten your discernment,
Mm-hmm.
so you know exactly what's coming in front of you. Because a lot of times people can come and say, "Oh, I'm a man of God. You're so awesome. Oh my God, this and the third."
Amazing.
And you look at them like,
Back up.
"Mm-mm." The whole snake that I see right there, I ain't got time for it. And you have to be on point with it, because you got to protect. Listen to me carefully. You have to protect your legacy,
Right.
not just for right now, but your legacy. So you can't allow in and everything to come into your presence, and you get hooked up with something. Now your whole bloodline gonna be cursed because you started off wrong.
Right.
So you have to keep that in mind. You have to learn to protect your legacy. Get your discernment. Why are you waiting? Ask God to give you a discernment.
Mm-hmm.
Ask God to keep your flesh under control, that you don't fall subject to just doing anything to try to get somebody to date you. And be mindful of those folks that said, the Lord said I'm supposed to be with you. Please know God's voice for yourself. Men, just because they have a nice shape and they look like all this, don't be quick. Look, the Lord, God told me last week, I've been watching you. He said, you're supposed to be my husband. And I tell them now, oh, really? Oh, well, I ain't hear that. And I don't like it like that. All what you bringing, but because if you're not careful, you'll fall for anything. You're so caught up in how they look that you're not listening to the venom that they put in your ear.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you're now allowing God to talk to you because you're listening to what's coming out of their mouth. So during this time when you are single, matter of fact, even while you're married, your discernment need to be up no matter what. That's just what as a believer, you're supposed to have a strong discernment.
Mm-hmm.
So, but as a single, it's very important that you continue to pray to God, give me the gift of discernment.
Right.
I need the gift of discernment.
Right. And many times, Pastor Brandon, for you as a single pastor that's, seeking God's face for more. Yet you would like one day, I'm pretty sure, to be married. And so, how do you balance your life with being a pastor of the church and also being single and yearning to be married?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm still learning that,
Mm,
and I'm not gonna sit here in front like, oh, I got no, because where I am,
mm-hmm,
trying to continue building a ministry,
mm-hmm,
it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of praying and seeking and staying with God. And then at the flip side of it is like when you're having those moments when you're not engaged fully with God, you have those moments where you're like, well, it'd be nice to have somebody. But then you think about it now, if I have somebody, I'm gonna have to cut down some of my time or reroute my time because now I got to give attention to this. Paul said it. Paul said it so eloquently.
mm-hmm,
Everybody was like him. They
mm-hmm.
didn't have to be married. But he said, if you decide to go that way, your first priority is whom you're with. And I think somewhere along the translation, we've forgotten that. Everybody don't, let me say this.
Oh Lord,
Everybody doesn't have to be married.
that's
Everybody
true.
doesn't have to be married. And don't make nobody make you feel guilty. I don't know why I had to say this. Don't make nobody make you feel guilty because you're not married. If that's not your desire, it's okay.
Right.
Okay, so back to the question. So yeah, it's challenging at times.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm learning to pull back into my humanity
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and learning how to walk and navigate the boat because I grew up in church. I'm a church boy. Like now, don't get me wrong, I did some stuff outside church. I done slipped and tipped and midnight dip and all that more.
Come on.
Did it all. Did it all. I did it all.
Transparency. Come on.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I still make mistakes. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, all I know and how to function effectively is church. And it's not a bad thing. I've learned that. I've appreciated that. Now I need to learn how to balance being earthly
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and not so heavily minded.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's challenging. It's challenging.
And I think, like you said, a lot of people don't think about once I get married, the time that I spend with God, the time that I have to just lay out and just, be before Him is going to change because now my priority is my husband or my wife.
Mm-hmm.
And, one of the things that I had to learn, listen, Lord, how can I be this powerful woman and then have to come out here and cook this food like and make this plate? Lord, I need you to help me to understand. I'm just gonna go back in the prayer room because it's too much. It's too much.
What about fried chicken?
I realized that my husband started having a problem with Jesus. And what
Yeah.
I mean by that is you're always praying. You're always in the prayer room. You're always spending time. What about me? Let's watch a movie. Now, listen, it's too much cussing in that movie. We can't watch that movie. But I forgot how to be his wife.
Yeah.
I didn't know. And no one really tells you how, they don't even tell you what to do when you're single. They're just telling you to keep your pants up and your skirt down. They'll tell you that part, but they don't tell you how to walk in singleness and be in church. It's the same way with marriage. They don't tell you what you're supposed to do once you get married. So you're trying to figure it out. Now I'm figuring out how to be single and saved. And then I get married and I got to try to figure out how to be married and saved. And so it's always a learning curve that you have to go through. But one of the things that I really want you all as singles to understand that it's your relationship that you have with God first and then with yourself. Before you bring anybody else in, one of the things that I realized, with everyone that I was dating, I was messing with, that I was around. Listen, there was no desire that I wanted to become a better version of me. I never wanted to work on the brokenness. I never wanted to go to therapy because, listen, I'm okay. I love me, but I really didn't. But when I got married with my husband, I realized you deserve so much more. You deserve the best of me. But I didn't realize that when I was going through that process of healing, of tearing down the walls, of bringing up past memories, that it caused me to pull away from my husband because some things came up in the trauma that I didn't even remember, and it caused me to back away. So I think it's really important that while you are in this singleness state, that you need to make sure that you're doing inner healing. You're making sure that you're going in and talking to someone. In the Black community, we don't believe in therapy, but therapy is needed. Yes, you're saved. Yes, you love the Lord. But and can the Lord touch you and remove all the brokenness, all the trauma, all the issues in the snap? Yes, he can. But yet he's also put therapists there that could talk you through it. They put you coaches there that can walk you through it. They put people there that will walk you through it. And so, you have to work on that. So I'm going to let Pastor Brandon talk since he done raised his hand.
I was thinking because the scripture clearly tells us, confess your faults one to another. What is that?
Oh, therapy. Come on in the
That's therapy.
right.
And we're quick to throw that out there and tell y'all gotta learn to communicate, gotta talk, gotta do that. But the thing is, confess your faults, your sins one to another. We should be at a place that we can talk to one another without hearing it again.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of people don't do church therapy. They go outside of church to get therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're in a relationship or going to be in a relationship, you should be able to have that open dialogue with your spouse. Hey, look, this is what's going on with me. Can we talk? I need to talk. We have to. And I want to say this too. We have to make sure. That's why it's very important for us that are single to be praying for somebody that understands our relationship with God.
Right.
Because this is from what I've heard, and I've had to help people with that are married about, when I got saved and I don't want to do this, guy, and now they just like they can't catch on. But wait a minute, when y'all first started, y'all won't save.
Right.
Just because you there, you got to be patient with them.
Mm-hmm.
And that reminds me every day, okay, God help me to be with someone that understands where I'm going in my walk with you, that they're striving to do the same thing. So when I want to pull away to spend time with you, either they say, all right, babe, go ahead and do a better yet, let me come with you. Because that dynamic is what I've been saying. It's tough. It's really tough. It is. I mean, even with people that I have dated, when I'm like, hey, I need to spend some time with God, I need a couple of days, no telephone. Next thing I know, where you at? Why? How long this gonna take? Oh my God, this don't make no sense. Who you with? Why you? And I'm just like, oh no, nah. And you still think I'm gonna marry you and not to deal with this? Nah. That lets me know up front, you're not going for the same aim, the same goal. You're not pressing towards the same mark that I am. Even though church, you said that. But when the light is off the church,
come on.
Now I see who you really are.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't gonna work. We gotta cut this loose.
Right. But when you are in a place of realness, when you are in a place that I'm walking and I'm in unity with myself, because I think a lot of people, they think one way about themselves, they say another thing about themselves, but they feel another way about themselves. So they're so broken that they're not on one accord with themselves. Yeah. And so, but yet they want this person to understand me. Yeah. But you don't understand you.
Yeah.
One minute you're crying, The next minute you're happy. The next minute you want to fight. Like you don't really know yourself. But when you get to a place where you allow on yourself to just take time to say, listen, I need a moment.
Yeah.
And and I stress because, and ask me how I know. I'm trying to let you know that if you are single, yes, you may be yearning for a mate, but if you are single, get everything right as much as possible with yourself.
Yes.
Because when you're trying to do it with someone else, and you're trying to take care of someone else, and you're trying to be there for someone else, and you're trying to be there for yourself, it's going to become overwhelming. That I had to get to a point that I told my husband, listen, I just had therapy today. If you walk in the house and it's a towel on the door, don't come in, because I need a moment to reflect on everything that just came up in this therapy session. So I can't even, and then, it got to a point that he would hug me or touch me one way, and it sent me into a flashback. It sent me into a trigger. And so, because even though I was going to therapy to make myself better for him, it made our relationship it almost broke us, because it was now the things that I should have worked on without him, I had to work on with him. And I didn't know how to explain it to him that I'm going through all this trauma, I'm going through all these triggers, I'm going through all this pain, but it's not you, it's me. But all he see is, wait, but you used to, let me hug you like this. You used to let me, so now because you're going through this, you're dealing with it. So I say all that to say, work on yourself while you're single.
Yeah.
Get things together while you're single. Spend time with yourself while you're single, because if you don't, you're going to bring all that into a relationship, and then you're going to expect for this person to understand your brokenness, your pain, your disappointments, your triggers, your this, your that, and so Pastor Brandon, what are some of the things that you have done to prepare yourself for your spouse?
Ooh. Did not see that question come.
Did not, I know.
You're dangerous. You are real dangerous. Some things one thing I'm doing, I'm learning to pay attention to my actions, paying attention to my behaviors, how I'm reacting to things in certain situations, as well as paying attention to what triggers that action, what's causing me to act like that, what's causing me to do this, as well as taking the time out to really learn to re-love myself, not the pastor, not the preacher, not the prophet, not the musician, but learning how to love Brandon, from the little boy to the teenager, adolescent, young adult to the grown man. Because one thing I've learned in my past therapy sessions that a lot of times you think you're okay, but there was a disconnect between your childhood and the adolescent and the teenager and the young adult. And a lot of times, if you don't learn to think about those things and trace that trigger back to figure out what happened and resolve it, it's going to continue the issue. As well as I'm learning how to take better care of my health. As our sister, who I miss so much, said she ain't try to have be no hospice wife.
Right.
I'm learning to take care of my health. Because I think in the Black community, that's something that we don't do as well.
Right.
We eat and drink everything, then later on we die. I ain't got diabetes, I ain't got sugar. Lord, take it from me. No, you should have been careful what you ate. I'm learning to do that, and most importantly, I'm learning to pay attention to my mental health.
Okay.
That's the main thing, because I'm strong on that Bible verse that says, "Be not conformed to this world, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." I'm learning how to renew my mind and not to be so stubborn and stuck in my ways. Because that's one thing I've seen too many husbands get old, they get stuck in their ways. They don't do well. I don't want to be like that. I want to be at a place that I am able to think forward and not think in the standstill. and learning how to strengthen my relationship, learning how to balance. That's the biggest thing, as I said earlier, just learning how to balance everything and being mindful what I pray for and,
Right.
and what I ask for to make sure that I'm being able to reciprocate the same thing.
And for those of you that's watching, what are some of the things that you are doing if you are single to prepare yourself for your spouse? You know, we've talked about a lot today, the last 3 weeks. We've talked about a lot. What are some of the things that, you know, that you're doing that, you know, that we talked about that caught your attention, something that you didn't really think about before that you now want to do or need to do? Because many times we are so stuck.
Mhm.
I think it was Miss Wanda that says, "Listen, I'm too old to change," but
I,
you're never too old to change. You can always change. Go ahead, Pastor Brandon.
and please don't take offense when I say this. Please, nobody take offense. This just go with me for a moment, okay? I had a dog that I called my son. I had him since he was 2000, since he was a pup. That's in 2007. He just was killed in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Old dog. Never would have thought though. So he used to live with my aunt, and he was an outside dog. When you're outside dog, you just use the bathroom wherever, you just do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Now, mind you, Judah was old. I mean, 1 year in human is 7 years in that. Think about it. I had him since 2007 to 2022. He was
Mm-hmm.
old. When he came to live with me, when I would go for him, when I take him off the chain, I will walk with him to a certain area in the neighborhood and let him go use the restroom.
Mm-hmm.
Then we'll go walk. Every day, we do the exact same thing. Till one day, the chain broke. And I was like, okay, where's Judah? Like, he just done took off running. And I'm fussing, Judah, get back here. But when I paid attention, he didn't use the restroom nowhere in the yard. He went to that spot that I had just only taught him a month or two ahead of time. So that helped me break the notion where people say you can't teach old dogs new tricks.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lie.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you really want to learn, if you really want to do better, you will do what you need to do.
Right.
So my I know that seems like a odd story, but it's the truth. I've seen some people that have went to back to college at 80,
Mm-hmm.
late 70s, 90s, getting a degree. So you can do it if you want to. It's all about the mindset.
And I have to make a correction because Miss Wanda just put in the comments, no, she wasn't talking about herself.
Yeah.
That's what men have said to her because she's working on herself. There's some things she needs to change and she's working on it. So Miss Wanda, I'm so thankful that you are working on,
Yeah.
some things that you need to change. But it, and it goes back to, what you said, Pastor Brandon, when we get set in our ways,
Mm-hmm.
I was told, listen, never let them see you cry.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what? You're the strong one, so you need to be strong. Never let them see you sweat. Never let them see you do this. And so I carried myself as this strong woman. Oh, I got it. I can fix it. But it was crushing me. The weight of trying to carry the strongness was crushing me. But listen, when I tell you guys, this year, when I say I didn't listen, I'm in my easy, soft girl season. I don't need to be strong. And when I tell you there was such a weight that was removed, I'm trying to control the outcome of the day. I'm trying to control the outcome of my daughter's life. I'm trying to control the outcome of this and the outcome of that, that I was suffocating myself. And I'm trying to make all the decisions. Then I get mad when nobody makes a decision. And, I remember one time my daughter said, Mom, you know why I don't do it? Because I know you told me to do it, but you know why I don't do it? Because you're going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I tell you that was an eye opener for me, I stepped back so fast. You ain't got to tell me twice. Listen, go ahead and handle it.
Yeah.
I think I might have stepped back a little too much because she's like, Mom, I need you to. No, You said, but we have to really understand that, because at that time I needed to be that strong girl. At that time I needed to carry myself that way. But there comes a time where you have to now change. The Lord has put me around some powerful women in this last 6 months, year, and these women have showed me how they listen. I can slay everybody in the room, but I know when I'm walking with my husband that I let him be the man. He walk in as the man. I know how to not be that powerful woman that you all know me to be, because I know how to now step back into that role as a wife. And so many of us now, even during this time as a single, start letting go of trying to be that strong one, trying to have it together, trying to, I have to change. I have to be a fake extrovert because I'm an introvert, but nobody want to spend no time with me. So now I need to start acting because I want someone. But guess what? You can be sitting in the library reading a book and your Boaz will walk by. You can be in the library going to take a book back, Boaz, and you're gonna walk into your Ruth. And so we have to we have to understand that when we are, God knows who we are.
Yeah.
He know everything about us. So he know the type of person that we want. And we were studying today the book of Genesis, and we was talking about Abraham and Sarah, Abram and Sarah. And listen, God gave her a promise, but it wasn't working as fast as they thought it was going to work. So what did she do? Listen, I want you to go into my slave Hagar, and I want you to bring forth this child that, because I can't give you a child. And then we sitting around, and I'm pretty sure Sarah was sitting around like, what did I just do?
Mm-hmm.
Why did I make this decision? I'm trying to rush the hand of the Lord. I'm trying to do it. But so many of us, when we was either dating or listen, I'm going to act this way. I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to move this way because God is not sending me my Boaz fast enough. So now I'm going to have to do some work myself. But then what happened? You're going to have an Ishmael. Yep. That's going to cause havoc in everybody's life. But when we take time to let God do it,
mm-hmm.
And if it's taking too long, the question you will have to ask God is, God, what is it in me that I still need to clean up, where I'm covering something up that my spouse can't find me? Mm-hmm. Or I can't find my spouse. What is it that's keeping me from seeing what you want me to see? Mm-hmm. Because when you start allowing God to show you, then you'll be able to see clearly. You'll be able to hear clearly. You'll be able to discern more. And so in that time, it's time for us to start allowing, like Ann said, let a man be a man. But listen, we got to let a woman be a woman.
I was just about to say.
It's time for us to step into that feminine energy. I know somebody's like, oh, we talk about spiritual things now. Listen, we need to step into that soft, feminine energy and move as women. Move as women that has a purpose.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. When I read Proverbs 31, I said, Lord, so you want me to do all this, and my man sitting at the gate talking to his friends? Like, he not going to help me with all this stuff that you got me doing in this Proverbs 31. But then I realized that even though the man is the head, let's be honest, if the neck is broke, the head is not going to have much work. If the neck is broke, then how is he going to look around? How is he going to be observant? So we're going to have to make sure we're in our rightful place. Listen, I need you to look to the left because I got it. Listen, look to the right, but I want you to step up and be that man. Listen, I'll put my hand on your small of your back when we walk in because I know you're going to put your hand on the small of my back when I walk in. So that means we'll help leading each other through. But if I'm trying to pull you and tug you, and listen, there's a problem.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Pastor Brandon.
And I think, two things you said. I thank God for the young adult ministry at the church, Legacy. They're always trying to get me to not be pastor. For leaders, you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Because we can be out somewhere. I went to a baseball game with one of them, and we were sitting there, and they asked him, "What do you think about?" I was like, "Oh, nothing." But I was really thinking about stuff about church. And they said, "You have to stop doing this. You have to stop doing this." And I was saying this because I was thinking about when you said that you had to make the decision, you was making decisions for everybody. A lot of times, people that are in leadership and are anointed, a lot of times we don't know how to pull back and
Right.
not always be a leader.
Right.
Well, sometimes we have to learn to pull back and be like, okay, no, just be human. Just be in this moment. You
Mm-hmm.
don't always have to lead. Know the difference. And so, and like you were saying that, let the man be the man, let the woman be the woman. I I I celebrate women. If anyone know me, I celebrate every powerful woman that I've come across in my life because those have been the ones that have been the most consistent, the ones that have been most helpful to me. Allow them to have that place.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be so intimidated by the power that rests on your woman because that's what she's supposed to have. A
Mm-hmm.
man that findeth a wife obtain a favor.
Mm-hmm. Help us.
Favor. She's supposed to be powerful. She's supposed to walk in certain areas that you can't walk into and come out with what you're supposed to have.
That part.
So I'm not intimidated. Baby, do what you do, boo. I'll be right here when you get back. I got you. You need me? All right, boo. I got you. I got you. And we have to be okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
You have to understand that you're in this together. You have to
Right.
you're in it together. So as men, I don't know how many on here. Men, if you on here, holler out at me. We have to make sure that we're secure. Support one another. Support your women that are trying to do good. Support them because I'm tired of counseling marriages where it's like the men feel like the woman is supposed to do nothing but cook all the time, and they can just lay around the house. No, that's no. It's a team effort. Do your part.
Your part.
And and people say, well, you just a new age man. No, it's common sense. If people don't realize, I'm sorry, I gotta sit up for this one. Whenever a woman is giving birth, they're close to death. And if they decide to have your child,
Mm-hmm.
they're putting their life on the line to make sure you have a legacy.
Right. And so he was about to say, I don't know what he's about to say, but what one of the things that we really have to understand is, that if this woman says, listen, I'm going to lay down my life for you. I'm going to bring forth this child because, we have come to a place where this is what we want. We have come to a place where this is how we're going to move forward. And I'm going to pass it back over to Pastor Brandon.
Yeah, I guess somebody got mad and cut the internet off. But yeah, we have to be mindful as men. You are to celebrate your woman, celebrate the love of your life, celebrate them because just like they're giving their life to give life to you, so
Mm-hmm.
you should have a legacy. You're supposed to do the same thing. It shouldn't always be the woman has to be the one to lead out. You're the man.
Mm-hmm.
You should lead out together. And so I admonish all men, learn to love your queen for who she is.
Right.
Don't make them have a headache. Don't make them have to be questioning where they stand with you. A lot of times there are a lot of women that are whole, but because they get messed up with a messed up fool, they begin to become broken
Mm-hmm.
and question themselves. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of times it's not the woman, it's because the man is so messed up, it makes the woman feel like that they messed up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, men, let's get it together. Let's get it.
And I think we also have to put out there that it's not a cookie cutter marriage. Like, listen, just because your wife cook, clean, and iron, don't mean, listen, don't talk to my husband talking about, listen, I need your wife to cook, clean, listen, doc. This is not what that's not what we're gonna do. So we have to understand that how me and my husband is in my house, you know what? He cooks more than I do when we're together. So but that doesn't make him any less of a man. It doesn't make me any less of a
Mhm.
woman. It
Mhm.
understand that this is the roles that we have in our togetherness. What my weakness is his strength. What his strength is my weakness. And so we have to get into a place where we really understand. Listen, I'm not worried about social media. Of course, my husband's Italian, and so with the Italian women, they don't have a problem with ironing and folding up the clothes and washing and doing all the home stuff because the man is out and bringing stuff in. But I had to remind my husband, listen, I get up just like you do and go to work. we both come in the door around the same time. So let's do this together.
Yeah.
Let's make sure we're doing it together. If I'm sitting at home and I have nothing to do, yes, I'll throw some clothes in the washing machine. Yes, I'll put some food on the stove if we're not going to go out to eat like I want to do. But but we have learned how to how to come together. We learn how to dance to our music. And when
Yeah.
we stop trying to dance to everybody else's music, that's why we had so many problems. There was a young man that went to my husband and said, "Listen, you're gonna have to be strict because black women don't know how to respect their husbands, and black women this and black women that." And he was a black man, African American, but he was a black man, and so he was telling my husband how to check me, how I'm supposed to act as a wife, what he's supposed to look out for with me as a wife. Me not knowing this, I'm wondering what's going on with my husband. Why is he acting out every now and then? Until he eventually told me, yes, this was the one. And then when we look back, and I said, look at him and his marriage. Look at his situation right now.
Yeah.
But yet, this is the man that told you how to treat a black woman.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you're going because you're thinking, and he was a pastor. So of course my husband was like, well, he's a pastor. He's a man in leadership. He's a man, that's following God. So of course he had to be telling me the right thing. And that's why we have to be mindful to say, listen, that communication, because had my husband spoken to me about what was going on, instead of trying to
enforce the law,
force me to do what he wanted me to do, and cause itself more stress, because I was like, listen, I know you lying. I just said that for my husband. But listen, no, because we have to get into a place that, look at you, and our relationship is not, he's not with his wife anymore. And I'm not talking about the brokenness, but yet he was so busy trying to control everything that he was even trying to control our house. We have to get to a place, listen, tune out everybody else's song, tune out everybody else's music, and let's dance this thing together. But while you're single, learn how to dance by yourself.
That's it.
Learn how to dance by yourself. I remember when my daughter was small, I would put her on my feet and I would dance around the room. We as singles, we're going to have to step on the Lord's feet and let him dance us around until we have the spouse that can dance with us. And what that means, spend time with him, understand him, learn how you can move, learn how you can maneuver, because when you understand yourself, when you understand who you are in the Lord, when you understand what God has called you to do, now you can understand this man that he sent you. Listen, I'm just here to be your helpmate. I'm here that we can do this together. If you can't do it, just tell me what you want us to do. And you know what? Just step back, because I'll be the one that will go out and set the pace. I will be the one that will go out. But if you are insecure as a man, you're going to always listen, sit down somewhere. You're trying to take my glove. You just listen. Either you're going to take the trash out or I'm going to take the trash out. Somebody got to take the trash out.
Somebody
got to take the trash out.
I think that goes across the board, even when it comes to dating. Don't let nobody tell you how you should date.
Right.
And don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong.
Come on.
On this.
Fix it.
You put some clarity on this. I'm not talking about you out here just lusting and all this stuff. I'm talking about when you have come to a place that you're mature, you understand yourself, you understand your standards, you all have made boundaries, you all know one another. Don't let nobody tell you how you ought to date, because sometimes some people, they don't need to date a long time before they marry. Some people do that. I've known it to happen, and they're still together now. Some
Mhm.
people, it takes longer for them to date, and that's cool. Whatever works for you all, and
Right.
whatever God allows and approves, that's all that matters.
That's it.
Because there'll be a lot of people, Pastor, if you date such and such, they gotta look like this. I don't like them like that. No, well, you can't do this. Why? Because
Mhm.
you may be tempted. Well, I can be tempted sitting right here in church.
With that burqa. Come on.
So you have to have a standard and know yourself. Now, if I wasn't secure in myself, and if my flesh was just totally out of control, yeah, I would take that. Yeah, you're right. Maybe I need to bring somebody. Well, maybe we need to do a triple date. All of us go out and hang out. We
Right.
all go. I understand that. But if I know that that's not a temptation for me, or that day's not, it shouldn't be a problem. So
Right.
know where you stand. Know how you need to date. Because when it comes to your relationship with God, when you date God, everyone it's different with every person.
It's different. It's different. And so, thank you all so much. We have gone over our hour as we always do. But so I'm going to, of course, ask Pastor Brandon. I know he just finished talking, but Pastor Brandon, is there anything that the Lord is laying on your heart to tell those who are watching or those who will watch the replay?
Yes. One thing I would like to say is, as I stated before, don't marry a one night stand. Don't allow yourself to start being involved with someone because of a one good time. And I'm not talking about sexual. I'm saying just, oh yeah, we laughed, we chopped up, it seemed like we clicked. No, you need to spend some more time than that one time. And then if you see things on that one time that's not right, don't say, well, maybe it'll be better next time. Pay attention.
Pay attention.
Pay attention. God is not going to allow anything to come upon you unaware. He's going to let you see some things. And when you see it, ask about it. Like, why you do this or this, that. And sometimes God said, don't ask, just run.
Fast.
Run. just run. And the very last, the very last thing is learn to have balance. We that are spiritual and anointed, learn to have balance. Teach yourself now how to have balance. Laugh, please. Laugh. It's in the Bible. We should all laugh. Don't be so deep and so serious. And you can't, somebody tell a joke, you going up in tongues. Laugh, people.
Come
Please.
on.
All right. God bless. Amen.
Thank you so much, Pastor Brandon. And for everyone that's watching, and Miss Ann said, yes, watch the red flags. And, and Miss Lisa said, be emotionally intelligent. And, and that's so many things that, we really have to understand. We have to understand who I am, what I like, what I don't like, what I'm going to tolerate, what I'm not going to tolerate, what I don't even have to tolerate. I can make a choice. And that's the thing of it. You can make a choice whether you want to be with this person or not be with this person. You can make a choice if you want a short man, a tall man, a light-skinned man, a dark-skinned man, a white man, a black man. It's a choice. But in that choice and in making that choice, make sure that you're making it from a place of wholeness, a place of not, oh, well, I'm looking for my half. Your half of what? Half of what? I'm whole. Like, I don't need a half of nobody. I need you to be whole, so I'm whole, so we can be together. I don't want no half.
The
Oh
old
no. Right. And so we really, and when we have one more week, and next week is going to be, we're just going to talk about kingdom conversations. So I'm pretty sure we're going to wrap up the singleness. We're going to talk some more about being married, but we're going to also talk about what, about your mental, what do you do when you're called and you don't know what else to do? What do you do when God has put a mandate on your life and yet you want to be with somebody? What do you do when God has called you to pick up, to put your hands to the plow and you can't look back? You can't go back. And so, these are some of the things that we are going to talk about because, go ahead, Pastor Brandon.
One last thing that just dropped in my spirit. Do not date your assignment.
Oh, Jesus, that's big.
Trust me.
What's the difference between
Never
the
date
assigned
your assignment.
and the assignment?
Mhm.
Because it will make you or break you.
Yes.
And so that's something that we'll talk about next week. We'll talk about next week. Knowing the difference between the assigned and the assignment,
Here
because
we go.
that's really important. And
Here we
so I just want to thank each and every one of you for being on, for being a part of Bridging the Gap. And if I was to leave you with anything tonight is, just rest in the Lord.
Yes.
I think we have found ourselves so anxious. Like,
Mhm.
oh God, the clock is ticking and I need to have a man because, I got to have the house with the picket fence and the 1.5 kids. And I got to have this, I got to have that, 1.5, right? And so, but when you understand that you can just rest in the Lord.
Yeah.
Find your time, find your pace. If you're not a sprinter, like for me, I'm not a distance runner. So if we got to do 4 or 5 miles when I was in the military, there was going to be a problem. Listen, I send the rear guard because y'all gonna have to come find me because I'm gonna be back in the back somewhere. But if we're sprinting and we're doing things on the track, then listen, nobody can catch me. Nobody can catch me because I understood I'm a sprinter, but I'm not a distance runner. But when you understand that some of you may just be a distance runner, so you may be able to take your time and pace yourself and move. Some of you may be sprinters, but you have to know yourself. You have to know your pace. You have to know how you're going to move. Because if I was a sprinter and I'm trying to run 4 miles, guess what? There's going to be a situation. Somebody's going to have to bring the truck and come get me because I'm tired. I can't make it any further. But it's in the endurance. And we're laughing and joking. But what I really want you to understand is there has to be a pace that you set for yourself. But you have to know yourself to set the pace for yourself. Yeah. And until you get to that place, you're going to be running too fast or running too slow. You're going to get exhausted. You're going to want to quit. You're going to want to give up. You're going to want to settle. Listen, I'm just going to stop right here at this company. Maybe somebody let me move in or something because I'm tired. I don't want to go any further. But when you get to a place in God, and God will give you the rhythm of the pace. He will let you know how fast to run. He will let you know when to slow down. He'll let you know when to catch your breath. Miss Ann said it's standards. Yes, he's going to show you how to move because you're not going to, the person that God has for me, had for me, my husband, wasn't the person that I thought I wanted. I thought I wanted the ideal black man, the 6'5", small waist, dark skin, bald head. I had the whole list. But that's what I wanted in the physical. But everything that I prayed and told God that I want my ideal man to have, my husband had it. Now, he may not have been the tall, dark skin and small waist, but guess what? He had everything that I prayed for. See, that was a difference. I had a list that I wished for, but I had a prayer list that I prayed for. And in my prayer list, my husband was everything in that list. So you may have your list for your ideal man, but I want you to now make a prayer list for the husband that you want. And don't just be wishing that I want this person. Okay, God, this is my ideal man. This is what I think I want on my arm, walking with me. But these are the things that I want in my man. I want him to be understanding. I want him to not have any children. Come on, let's be real. I don't want him to have a baby mama. I don't want to have no drama in my. That's the things that you pray for. And those are the things that the Lord will bring to you. Listen, this is Bridging the Gap 101 with Prophet. Okay, and so I want you all to please allow the Lord to know this is what I want. This is what I'm searching for. These are the things that I want. And so Pastor Brandon is telling me when to get off my own show, y'all. Come on, man.
You the one that was closing.
This gap is closed. Come on now.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
So I am going to close again. Thank you so much, Pastor Brandon. And thank you all so much. So come on next week so we can do the final and we can do Kingdom Conversation. And we're going to close out the singleness, the church and singleness series that we had. So I love each and every one of you. Like I tell you every week, I am only a text or a phone call away. And remember, when you know better, you what?
You can do better.
Do better. So you all have an amazing night. Bye-bye.